Hey everyone, my name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. I know someone in the comments section had asked, how do I know this is a super cycle? And my answer is going to be, just look at the charts. Look how big they are and look how fast that they're going to materialize over time. A super cycle takes time, and these large chart patterns that are developing are going to take time. That's why I think there's going to be a super cycle. So I'll show you the charts that I'm looking at and what I'm seeing. Why a super cycle? It's continued downward pressure on the dollar is what I see for a very long period of time. Continued upward demand on commodities. Valuations of commodities in relationship to stocks is super cheap. And commodities are undersupplied worldwide for the majority of commodities. And again, I'm going to tie this back to the size of the charts. So here is the new private housing starts. So housing starts are just new homes being built per year. When you go into an expansion phase, like this phase here is an expansion phase of real estate. That phase there was a commodity boom. And it was a commodity boom because it put pressure on the dollar downward. This put downward pressure on the dollar. It also was an inflationary period. And we're coming up on that same time frame again. Expansion phase, which is going to put pressure on the dollar downward. And we're going to have inflation. And inflation likes commodities. Or I should say commodities likes inflation. Here's the dollar. You can see the dollar was declining back during the last commodity bull market. Between the two bull markets of 2008 and we'll say 2020, in this period here, we had an increasing, strengthening dollar. And now we broke to the downside, declining in terms of dollar value. That's positive for commodities. And I think this is going to last for 10 years. That's a commodity super cycle. This is the price of gold. Just by looking at this, we've got a nice upward move. We've got kind of this impulse move higher and then the move across, impulse move higher, move across. And then we're going to see another impulse move higher, I think, soon because of the dollar. Silver's put in a gigantic pattern as well. This thing is massive. It's going to go far higher when it breaks out of this pattern here. And this physical size of this pattern here, when looking at it, makes me think that silver is going to go way higher. Way, 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 way higher. That's what this pattern looks like. And it's an accumulation of people all putting in this pattern. It's herd mentality. And that herd is saying that this is going to go way higher. Then we've got things like the Huey to gold ratio. This ratio is coming and turning up, and it looks like it's going to turn up for many years. This ratio has been declining, and it's been declining since way back here. And it's starting to turn around and put in a bottom and head higher. I think going to head higher for a long period of time. Same with the XAU to gold ratio, the gold and silver index. It's just breaking to the upside. This is going to take many years, I think, for it to reverse way back up higher. And I think that's going to be a commodity super cycle because of the time it's going to take. But these charts look fantastic here. Then you see like an EEM, emerging markets. When the dollar declines, this is going to move to the upside. I would say 2016 was a turning point. That's when the housing market started to get more expensive. We were not in an expansion phase yet, but it did make some good progress. Went sideways. This is the sell-off for COVID, and then we're going on higher in an expansion phase. So this is agreeing with the weak dollar in a commodity super cycle. A commodity super cycle is just another way of saying that the dollar is going to be weak for 10 years. That's really what it is. Here's Ballet, just to show you some companies. I mean, this is a big monster pattern that's breaking to the upside. More evidence that this is going to be a big move to the upside. And everyone's so focused in on the movements from week to week, day to day, week to week, and month to month, that you got to be looking for year to year movements and month to month and year to year movements. Again, Mosaic, another commodity company. This thing looks like it's ready to launch. Hecla Mining, 60-year downtrend being broken here. And look at that. That's a clear break. Clear break. You got First Majestic Silver. No, it's a silver company. breaking to the upside. Big chart patterns being broken. Freeport-McMoran, copper company, breaking to the upside. Archer-Daniels-Midland, breaking to the upside. Caterpillar, breaking to the upside. They're making equipment for a commodity bull market that's coming. So what I'm looking at, and what I'm seeing is it's really just you could argue that demographics is what drives commodity prices, and that the weakening of the dollar as well. So inflation is what drives a commodity supercycle. So demographics is what you could almost argue drives inflation. So what I see and why I think we have a commodity supercycle on our hands is the driving of the dollar down over time. And that comes from real estate, it comes from demographics. And we've got the prime home buying years in the millennials coming up to buy homes, and that's going to drive home prices higher. It's going to drive a whole bunch of new homes being built. And last jacked up scenario in real estate that our government totally jacked up in terms of mortgages. Sure, everybody should own a house. They just started handing out mortgages and they all failed. And then it created this weird scenario where all these foreclosures came on the markets and it screwed up the new home builds. So the new home builds were underbuilt by 3.8 million. This is some weird scenario that's coming up. And we got to build more homes than we've ever built before. So we'll see what happens. But I do think it's going to take time, and I do think we're going to have a commodity bull market. And I think commodities are priced extremely cheap in relationship to stocks. They're cheap in relationship to everything. So it's coming. It's not too hard. You just got to find what you like and hold on. That's what you got. That's all you got to do. If you guys like this content, give me a thumbs up. Let me know what you think. Put it in the comment section. And thank you for listening. This is Finding Value.